Check's complete. Everyone be aware, we've got a car leaving the garage. Okay, radar is clear, weather is looking good for now. Okay, dries seem like the best tyre for now. You've just put in the fastest lap, good job. Okay, we can take you this lap. Okay, just 2 laps of fuel remaining now.
With qualifying complete, let's review our top 3 today. Surfer Girl, Hulkenberg and Carlos Sainz. With qualifying wrapped up now, we have our grid lineup for the big race tomorrow. Be sure to join us then for what will no doubt be a fantastic race. So it's all about speed in today's sprint, not very many laps and no chance to get ahead on strategy. Who here today has the raw skill to take them to the top? Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting sprint. Surfer Girl lines up on pole position, and Nico Hulkenberg completes the front row. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Sainz, Verstappen, Lando Norris, and Leclerc, Perez, Russell, Hamilton, and Fernando Alonso, Ocon, Ricciardo, Valtteri Bottas, and Tsunoda, Vettel, Stroll, Alex Albon, and Kevin Magnussen, Gasly, Mick Schumacher, Joe, and Nicholas Latifi. Which of these drivers will get pole position today? We'll soon find out. The formation lap gets underway ahead of today's sprint. It's going to be interesting to see who gets pole position. We're almost ready to start the sprint as the cars take their positions on the grid, with the drivers and teams making their final preparations.
that's P1. Car behind you is Nico. Our gap behind is 1.5 seconds. They're all fresh softs. That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops. Let's go. Okay, DRS will be enabled this lap. You can use it when you're within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone. driving.
With that result, the sport's newest team can no longer be touched at the top of the table. What an incredible journey this has been for a team many had written off a short time ago. They are the Formula One World Champions. Meanwhile, good work from Aston Martin this weekend, who pushed themselves further up the order. Well, that wraps up the sprint. All that remains is the main event. We'll be live and uninterrupted for the Grand Prix tomorrow, so make sure you join us then. Formula One returns to Interlagos once again with the stage set for what promises to be another classic Sao Paulo Grand Prix. Sebastian Vettel famously clinched his third championship here in 2012, and just 4 years later, Max Verstappen treated us to one of the finest wet weather drives of all time. It's an unusual anti-clockwise race here at Interlagos, where the Sao Paulo locals are packed into the grandstands at each of the 15 corners around this classic 2.7-mile circuit. Two very fast sections bookend the famous and highly technical Sector 2, where getting a good run out of Junsao into one of the two DRS zones will be key to any overtaking prospects today. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Surfer Girl lines up on pole position, and Nico Hülkenberg completes the front row. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Sainz, Norris, Charles Leclerc and Perez, Fernando Alonso, Hamilton, Stroll and Max Verstappen. They've taken a grid penalty. Bottas, Vettel, Kevin Magnussen and Russell, Albon, Mick Schumacher, Pierre Gasly and Guan Yu Zhou. Ricciardo, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Latifi, Ocon, they've taken a grid penalty, and Yuki Tsunoda. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today? Anthony Davidson, a lot of talented drivers out on the track today, but what will stand out for you?
My focus is 100% on the front of the grid. Like you said, we're seeing a lot of strong competition across those positions, so it'll be super interesting to see the fight for that front spot. Personally speaking, I'm hoping for plenty of overtakes.
The formation lap gets underway, and every driver will be looking to settle in for the race ahead, making sure that their car is ready for the battle once the lights go out. As the cars come back towards the grid to line up for the start of the race, each driver will be wanting to get the best start they possibly can. And they'll be hoping to finish today's race on the podium, failing that, within the points.
Okay, expect to see some rain about 10 to 15 minutes from now. Dries definitely seem like the fastest tyre at the moment. You've got 10 laps until your pit window opens. Pit window opens in 10 laps. Copy that, hards next time we box. DRS now enabled. DRS enabled. So we're expecting rain in about 10 to 15 minutes. Okay, move the front wing angle to a balanced setting next time you're in. Okay, one stop to go, just one stop left in this strategy, and that's 6 laps until your pit window's open. Rain is forecast in just over 10 minutes time. Rain in 10 minutes. Okay, dry seem like the best tyre for now. Stopping this lap. Okay, no issues with tyre wear for now. Keep taking care of them. Watch out for the car behind. They're only 2 seconds down on you and might try and overtake if you make a mistake. Stay focused.
And it looks like the pit crew are out in the lane and ready to perform their magic on the car. They're going to be aiming to achieve the fastest pit stop time possible.
After these tyres now, we want to finish the race on this compound. Okay, our main competitors in this race are you and Apple. Okay, fitting intermediate tyres next. Okay, we've reached danger point with wear on the MGUH. Overheating the engine will exacerbate the issue, so keep temps under control, please. Okay, Nico's into the pits. Nico in the pits. Okay, that's P7, you've moved into P7. Russell is in the pits. Alonso's ahead of you. Okay, gap to the car ahead is 9.7 seconds. They're on old mediums. Their tyres are 8 laps old. We think they've got one more stop. The last lap time was a 1:15.2. Looks like rain is inbound and we're expecting it in around 5 minutes. 5 minutes until the rain. Okay, so we're leading our teammate by 4.5 seconds. Managing your tyres, manage your tyres. Understood, copy that. Alonso ahead, and they've entered the pit lane. They're on old mediums. Okay, they've done 10 laps on those tyres. We think they've got one more stop. And the time last lap was a 1 minute 15.6. Position, front of the pack. And that's Nico behind. Okay, the gap behind is 3.1 seconds. They're on fresh mediums. Pit strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now. Okay, just 5 laps until the end. The rain's going to keep getting heavier for the next 15 minutes at least. Dries definitely seem like the fastest tyre at the moment. Okay, the forecast suggests this rain's going to keep getting stronger for at least the next 15 minutes. You've got a 2-second gap to the car behind. We need to keep it clean, but don't get a chance to overtake. Focus. Tyre situation's an interesting one, but I think the right call is to stick with what we've got for now. DRS will be offline. There's a fault with the rear wing system. Stay out, we can work on a fix remotely. It's going to keep getting here for the next 15 minutes at least. Okay, not sure whether dries or inters are faster. We're right on the crossover. That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops. Let's go. No tyre concerns at the moment, just focus on the driving. At least another 10 minutes until this rain evens out. Stay alert out there. We're not certain which is the best tyre right now, dries or inters. final lap of the race. Okay, this is your final lap of the race. Okay, conditions are going to keep deteriorating for 10 minutes at least. Inters seem to be the fastest tyre for now. Cars are coming in for inters. It's touch and go, but could be worth a risk. Be ready for it if you want a box. That's a podium. Excellent drive. The team have worked especially hard this weekend, and this is a fantastic reward.
That's a spectacular victory, and with it, the championship is secure. It's been a magnificent season, and they thoroughly deserve the cheers of the crowd here today. Well, Anthony Davidson, a resounding victory today, but what set them apart from the rest?
Well, I honestly feel it was down to the driver and car today. I mean, we can talk driver skill all day, but if you don't have a solid team to back that, you're never going to get anywhere. When you hit that sweet spot of having both an excellent driver and an incredible car, that's when you see results like those we witnessed today.
Welcome then to the podium, our top three drivers. What a great effort from them today in a very difficult race. Well, not the result our points leader would have wanted, but it certainly makes things interesting going forward. Well, after an incredible day of racing, who was your driver of the day, Ant?
I have to give it to Surfer Girl. That was a commanding performance today. Very impressive indeed.
With that result, the sport's newest team can no longer be touched at the top of the table. What an incredible journey this has been for a team many had written off a short time ago. They are the Formula One World Champions. Meanwhile, good work from Aston Martin this weekend, who pushed themselves further up the order. After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time out? Be sure to join us once again as we continue to bring you all the excitement of Formula One.